What's up guys, Brian here with BPS Customs, and today on the channel we're going to be doing episode 2 of Show Me Your Rig. Now for those of you guys unfamiliar with this video series, which is likely most of you as there has only been one other episode, this is a chance for you guys in the community to submit your computers to me for consideration to be featured on the channel. Now there is no prize here as this is not a contest. That's not the point of this video series. What we aim to do here is to show off the hard work and dedication that some people have put into their systems and for other users to maybe get an idea, see what other people are doing, implement some of the cool features that other users have put into their computers, into their systems. With that being said though, if you guys are interested in getting your rig featured on this video series, you could enter right here at showmeyourrig@gmail.com. Don't forget when you send in your submission to include as many high-res photos as you can of different angles, as well as any identifying information you'd like me to share with the community and all the specs for the computer. If you'd like, you could also include some backstory, what you use your computer for, or any other information that might be relevant. With that being said though, let's get to the systems that are being featured today. Alright, so let's dive into the first submission. My name is Mike, but I go by MP67 or Lenticular on occasion. I will link to his Twitter somewhere in this vicinity over here. I work in IT on the sysadmin level, as well as having previously been in the Air National Guard as a weather forecaster. For the past decade, I've only ever used laptops. Okay? That all changed last year when I discovered the tech YouTube community and decided to build my own desktop. The system is used for everything from gaming, weather forecast modeling, trying to keep my skills up, to virtual machines. That's interesting, actually. This is the first submission that I've seen that mentions VMs. He says, I kind of regret painting my Noctis 450 case. I didn't realize that iBuyPower Custom paints their NZXT Noctis 450 cases in the same fashion as I did mine, so it looks like I bought one of their cases, and we're going to take a look at that in a second. He did a great job with this, with the painting on this build. Also, the PCIe cable extensions are configured the way they are due to a mistake from the manufacturer, but I like the look better than having them formed in the same direction, so I decided to keep them that way. All right, well, with that being said, I'm going to stop confusing you guys. Let's dive in and actually take a look at some of the photos. So this is the system specs here are Core 7 6700K running at 4.4 gigahertz. A respectable overclock, not the highest I've heard of, but certainly respectable. 32 gigabytes of G.Skill DDR4. It looks like Ripjaw's 5 memory. Deepcool Captain 240 AIO. I've heard mixed things about this AIO. I'm not a huge fan of its appearance. I don't like that the tubes look a little flimsy. I'd rather like some braided tubes or some heavy-duty rubber hoses or something along those lines. And the fact that the coolant is colored and exposed, means that you have to build a red system, or maybe they have a blue one, I think, or you have to build a blue system. Granted, I've never worked with this AIO. I'm not sure if you could change the coolant. If you can, that would be great. But I don't really like the way this looks. I don't know. I'm sure it performs well. I just don't like it. There's a 256 gig Samsung 950 Pro buried somewhere in here. I actually don't remember. Oh, right here. Here it is. 950 Pro. And a 480 gigabyte PNY SSD. It looks like it is custom painted. Thermaltake Ring 12 fans. Looks like there's 3 of them. There might be some more up front that we can't see. An MSI SLI bridge. Well, I used to run the same one. This looks pretty cool. Goes along with your color scheme. And custom sleeved extensions along with some custom red thumb screws. Looks like there's one here, 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 and here. Do I see any more? I don't see any more offhand. Anyway, so just let's talk about this system. So there are 2 980 Ti's in here in SLI. These are 2 MSI 980 Ti's. I used to run these same cards in my system. They ran great, but there is a little bit of sag to them. If you look at it from, hold on, there we go. It's not a lot, but it looks like it sags like right at the end. These coolers, while being very heavy, are also a lot more sturdy than the lower end MSI cards. Even though the coolers look the same, the Twin Frozer designs look the same, the higher end cards actually are much better at supporting themselves than the lower end cards. Although there is a little bit of sag here, and that's not something that Mike could really help. So I don't blame him for that or anything along those lines. But what he was talking about with the cable extensions is that one goes up and one goes down. And when you order custom extensions, the more expensive ones, actually, you specify if you have the clips up or down. So like it depends on the orientation that the manufacturer has put on the cards, and that determines the pre-formed curve of the extensions. It looks like what happened here is that instead of having them run both like kind of cascading down from the top through this pass through, they sent him one that was curved in one way and one that was curved in another way, so he kind of had to run one up and one down. And I actually like it. I think this looks a lot more original than having them both cascade down, which I have done in the past. Although this area up here gets a little bit busy, but it's not distracting, and I think this looks neater. You see like the whole space in between the video cards, which you don't often get to see if you have an SLI set up. So this looks cool. I don't mind that. Like you said, it was a mess up, but it came from factory, and it looks better, I think, than or at least more original. How about that? One thing I will say is I like the cables to be bound all the way across. You could buy cable combs that are 8 wide instead of 2 4 section combs. I don't know what to call it, but you could see that there's the combs here there's 2 of them. There's one here, and they're not connected. You could buy them bound all the way across so that it gives a little more I don't know, structure to the cables, but this doesn't look bad by any means. And then let's just move on here to some of the other photos he sent, if I can, maybe. All right, my thing is broken. There we go. Okay. This is his setup. He didn't mention anything about doing any kind of audio recording or YouTube or anything like that, Twitch, and I don't see a microphone here, so I assume that these acoustic panels are for show, but they look cool. And this is a very clean setup, very color coordinated. He's got his PC off to the side here, mounted not on the floor. Good job, Mike. And a nice VESA mounted monitor on the wall. And everything looks really nice. He's got like a keyboard that looks like a typewriter up there. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. And here's where he showed me that he took everything apart in order to paint it. Didn't cut any corners. A lot of people, when they're painting, especially if they're not like doing it full time, or they just want a little bit of accent, they'll kind of paint everything in place. This is the right way to do it. Make sure you're not getting any overspray on anything, and it really shows. This looks really clean. And yeah, unfortunately iBuyPower does sell something that's very similar to this, but this looks good anyway. Just put a little sticker on here that says like made by Mike or something. Maybe that'll help out. But this looks really good. I'm sure it's a really good performing system for you. Let's give it some scores. For performance, unfortunately, this is a last generation configuration here. There are certainly some systems that are better right now. The 980 Ti's are kind of equivalent to like 1070s. So for performance, I'm going to give this a 4. Still a really hardy, really strong performing system, but not the best. For continuity, I'm going to give this a 5. I think all these parts go together really well. You have, top of the line stuff from, like I said, last generation. There's nothing here that's mismatched. So I think for continuity, this is a 5. For originality, a lot of people doing the black and red thing. You have a couple little color accents, a little gray here. And you did do some custom work on the computer. So for originality, I'm going to give you a 4. I don't think this is the most original system. I don't think anybody would say that reasonably, but it's certainly well done. And for appearance, I'm going to give it a 4.5. This looks really clean, and I like clean. I like the way this is done. All the cables are routed correctly. You have nice color continuity here. So I'm going to give it a 4.5 for appearance. Nice job, Mike. All right, so our next system is a little bit different. This is going to be kind of a learning opportunity. This system is from Moamin Mohammed. He goes by Mo. He's a 20-year-old college student. He says, I built my first rig as shown below, September 2016. I used to be a big PS4 fan, but they continue to disappoint, so I decided to build my own PC. I use the PC for schoolwork, gaming, and when I have time, editing YouTube videos. Oh, interesting. I'd be interested to see what you got going on. I play a huge variety of games, including open world, action, adventure, racing, and RPGs. That's the only information he sent me besides the system specs. So let's just take a look at it and dive in. So this is an NZXT 450 ROG. So this is the same case as we just looked at. It's a Noctis 450, and it's an ROG edition apparently. This is an i7 4790K sitting in an MSI Z97 Gaming 5 motherboard. MSI GTX 1060 6GB, Corsair Vengeance Pro 16 gigabytes of DDR3 up here, Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo, 1TB Western Digital hard drive, and a 250 gigabyte Samsung Evo. Now, as you can see, this system looks a little bit different from the systems that you might normally expect me to feature. But the reason I wanted to feature it is because it is going to be a teaching opportunity for me. I could kind of show you guys what my thought process is when looking at something like this. Now, first of all, this yellow sticker's got to go. just tear that off. It's real obvious right in the middle of everything. But besides that, this is basically a cable management issue. There's no other problems with this besides cable management. You could make an argument for this being oriented the wrong way or just a different way. You could see that, hold on, here we go. There's a good amount of space up here for airflow, although generally you prefer to have air coming in the front, running through here, and then running up through the fins and out the back, just makes for a better flow as opposed to coming in, having to fit in between here and then going up. It's only going to give you maybe a couple of degrees if you change the orientation of this, but it might clean things up a little bit. And also the fact that you have kind of, this isn't the card isn't on the top slot, which would be real bad, but you could be choking it a little bit by having this big card blocking a little bit of air coming from the bottom. Now let's talk about this card. This is another MSI card, and this is the lower end card. This is like I was talking about, with Mike's system. The lower end cards don't have as good support for these big coolers, and they really sag. I had a very similar situation with a Twin Frozer RX 470 that was worse than this. I couldn't get it to sit level no matter what I did. It was pretty bad. I don't like the torque that it puts on the PCIe slot when it's like this, and this is a situation where, first of all, I'd recommend putting in a second thumb screw. That will certainly help you. But also, you'll likely need some kind of a GPU support. MNPC Tech sells them. You could even use something just to prop it up over here. It would make this look a lot better, and also would take some stress off the PCIe slot, which is always good. But let's take a closer look down here. Your SSD is not mounted properly. It's not in the sled. When you put these, there are screw holes here and here, here and here. When this is fastened down properly, this is all crooked. It looks like it's not really fastened in here. So screw that down, and then route the cables through these pass-throughs. This pass-through here there's a similar one over here. You could see that there's a little bit of red right there. Which means that he has routed the SATA power and data cables down through them. Why not do the other cables the same way too? The front panel audio cable should go from up here down back behind the motherboard tray and then just peek out and plug in right there. You don't see it that way. Same thing for these front panel connectors. This is a USB, and then what is this? Maybe this is the power switch. I'm not sure on this motherboard, but route them through here. That's what these are for. It looks like you've certainly done some of that. Like hold on. See if we can get to the another picture here. Yeah. So you have your 24-bit. This looks like an EVGA power supply. Because they have the individual black strands, and these don't look bad if you just have them like this. It's routed correctly. It's routed out through the nearest grommeted opening and then plugged right in. Why have your EPS cable coming all the way across the board like this? You route it back through here like you have these fan cables routed back. Route it behind the tray, come down here. All you'll see is a cable from here to here, and that's it, as opposed to this long snaky thing. So that seems to be like a common problem I'm seeing with this case, or this build, is that the cables just aren't routed correctly, and it's an easy fix, man. Take an hour, take maybe 2 hours. Take the back panel off, reroute these cables. This will look like a brand new system. Maybe reorient this, but that's not. You don't have to do that. So I don't want to make this like a pimp my PC kind of a thing. maybe I'll do that at one point if you guys want me to, but I'm just saying what you can work with what you have right here. It's pretty simple fixes that will completely change the look of the system. And this case has like a side panel window that's big. It's like right in this area here. It shows this entire thing. So, you know, and do you have the plastic still on the window? Looks like the peel, you know, the plastic, the protective plastic is still on this window. Huh. Peel that off. Peel it off. Your system will look so much better. Or maybe maybe after you do these fixes, peel this off. But yeah, I'm not gonna do like a pimp my PC thing. This is more like what you can do with what you have, and you know, if you change up a few things here, this will be a good looking system. So for scores, for performance, you know, this is an older system. I think that relative to the performance we've seen in some other systems that I've featured, it's probably pretty low, although that's not to say that this isn't a decent performing system. The 4790K is still an extraordinarily capable processor. You have a GTX 1060 6GB, which will run basically any title at high or ultra settings at 1080p. So you probably game on this for years and be fine. But relative to other systems that we've seen, this is probably a 2.5 for performance. Now for continuity, everything seems to kind of go together, even though you have a current generation graphics card and a Haswell processor that's a couple generations old. They seem to match up pretty well. I'll give this a 4 for continuity. For originality, there's not really much here. I'm going to give this a 2 for originality. And for appearance, also, I'm going to give it a 2. Sorry to be a little harsh, but make a few fixes, send it back into me. I'd love to see what you do with it. All right, so we have one more system. It's an honorable mention. It's from Matt. This is how you do PC photography. And I wanted to show it off because I think this looks so good. This is just a basic system. There's no sleeved extensions here. There's no crazy custom water cooling here. There's nothing painted. This is just a basic, clean build that looks really good, and the way he took these photos looks great as well. I just wanted to give a shout out to Matt for sending these in to me because this looks really good, and I appreciate the time you took to make this look the way it does, and also to take these great photos. So that's it for episode 2 of Show Me Your Rig. If you guys want to get featured on the channel, once again, this is the email down here. Send me some pictures, send me some information, send me anything you want me to share. Thanks for watching, guys. Get subscribed to the channel if you're not already so you don't miss another Show Me Your Rig or another contest, because one of those just ended, and congratulations to the winners. Hit that like button if you like this video, and I'll see you next time.